birrul walidayn, to be kind and righteous to the parents, the father and the mother. The word of al-birr, which means, as the ulama, they define it, al-khayr, wal-fadl, the goodness, the virtues, right? These types of good things that a person would make sure that he would do to his parents. And the opposite of that, if a person is not doing the birr, or the righteousness, or the goodness towards the parents, is doing the opposite, which is al-uquq. Al-uquq is to be opposite to what is the birr. To do to the parents what is evil, what is not good, and the slightest amount of uquq that makes them upset is a major sin. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned that in the Quran, وَلَا تَقُلْ لَهُمَا أُفٍّ وَلَا تَنْهَرْهُمَا. The uff is the slightest dajar or unease that they would feel from you. This is a major sin. So birrul walidayn is al-ihsan, or to give or do goodness towards them, bil-qalb, wa bil-qawl, wa bil-fi'l. Right? With your heart, with your tongue, with the rest of your body, with physical actions. Like the iman is in these three parts, the same thing with al-ihsan or the birr towards the parents is in these three places. With the heart, with the tongue, with the rest of the body. You do all of this taqarruban lillahi ta'ala. That you're doing that seeking the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Not seeking the pleasure of the parents necessarily, but seeking the pleasure of Allah, because this is the order of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and not the order of anyone but Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. And what's the difference between seeking the pleasure of Allah and seeking the pleasure of the parents? Seeking the pleasures of the parents only would not get the person the rewards from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, plus it's deficient. Those who seek the pleasure of the human beings only, once this human being would not treat them well, they would oppose that by treating them also not in a good way. But the one that will treat people always good, the ones that basically as if the one that they're treating them good does not exist really. Why? Because they're focused on the ru'ya or the witness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They're not focused on mushahadat al-khalq. He's not witnessing, or he's not concerned about how the people are seeing his actions. He's not concerned about how his parents are seeing his actions. He's more concerned about how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is witnessing his actions. So whether the parents, they respond with goodness or with evilness, it doesn't matter. It's the same way that he would still act towards them with all means of goodness. And also another benefit, he would not disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala because of the parents or because anyone. Why? Because if the parents order the son to commit a sin, right, or to commit kufr, for example, then it's not permissible to obey them. Someone like this, the parents ordering him or her to commit a sin, right? If he disobey them, he is being righteous towards them. This is what al-birr is. When he disobey them, when they order him to commit a sin, they would be upset with him. They would think that he is a son or a daughter that is aq, that is disobedient and rebellious against his parents, right? But to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is what righteousness is. Why? Because if the son or the daughter obeys their parents to commit a sin, the son or the daughter will be subjected to the punishment from Allah and also the parents. So when he disobeys them, he is protecting them from the hellfire. He's protecting them from receiving the anger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as a result of his actions. So he's basically being so righteous to them. So that means what also? That al-birr is not what we think. Al-birr, to be righteous to the parents, is not what the parents think. To be righteous to the parents is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants from us. It's deen. It's to be only received from the Quran and the Sunnah, and that's why people have extreme views of things. It's not just common sense. To observe birrul walidayn is not what the walidayn necessarily they want, it's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants. But with this, the person has to be extremely kind to them. Not to, if they order him to commit a sin, what he's supposed to do, he's supposed to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and please his parents. How can he do this? He needs to figure that out. Don't commit the sin and don't make them upset. What he's going to do, then he's going to do the best he can. If they're still upset with him, then he did what he can. Right? That means he's going to be extremely kind to them and do the things that he never done before, and to be, under their feet and service and all kinds of things, so that they don't think bad of him, and they would understand that this is really deen, it's nothing personal or anything like that. One of these rights is to be kind to the ones that the parents, they love or they liked or they had relations with them during their life, right? And this is something that is a right during their life and after they die. And this is the hadith of Ibn Umar radiallahu anhuma, which is such a beautiful incident that has so much benefits in it, that shows how the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, when they understood something from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it wasn't just knowledge, it was knowledge and actions at the same time. When Abdullah ibn Umar radiallahu anhuma, a man from the Arab, laqiyahu, he met him بطريق Makkah, when he was going to Makkah. فسلم عليه عبد الله بن عمر son of Umar ibn Khattab رضي الله عنه, he made salam to him. وحمله على حمار كان يركبه, and he made him ride on a donkey that he was riding. وأعطاه عمامة كانت على رأسه, and he gave him a imama, right, that was on his head. He did all of this to this simple Bedouin. So Abdullah ibn Dinar was with him, and he told him, أصلحك الله, may Allah have mercy on you or correct you. It's an expression to be said when a person sees something that he thought that he's not doing, he's doing too much for this. He said, these are the Arab, these are the Bedouins. وَإِنَّهُمْ يَرْضَوْنَ بِالْيَسِيرِ, they are very satisfied with something little. Why would you give him your donkey that, it's value, right? And it's your imama and so on. So Abdullah ibn Umar, he told them that إِنَّ أَبَا هَذَا كَانَ وُدًّا لِعُمَرِ بْنِ الْخَطَّابِ. He said the father of this man was wuddan, was someone that Umar ibn al-Khattab, his father, loved. His father, not the man, his father, right? And then he said, وَإِنِّي سَمِعْتُ رَسُولَ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وسلم, and I heard the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم say, إِنَّ أَبَرَّ الْبِرِّ صِلَةُ الْوَلَدِ أَهْلَ وُدِّ أَبِيهِ. From the best of righteousness towards the parents is for the walad, for the son, to be kind to the ones that his parents used to like or used to love, their friends. Right? And in some narrations, بعد أن يولي, after he would die. So during their life and after they die. This is something that does not end by the death of the parents. So how Ibn Umar radiallahu anhuma, he went along with this and he applied it when he saw this Bedouin. That not the Bedouin was the one that Umar radiallahu anhu knew, it was the father of him. So it's never going to stop them. Whether they are Muslims or non-Muslims, as we said. To be kind to the parents is at all times, right? Whether they are Muslims or non-Muslims, but again without obeying them in anything that is of a sin. The virtues or the verses of the Quran and the Hadith of the Prophet ﷺ that talks about this is many. How we see that it's always linked to the Tawheed of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the orders from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be dutiful to Him, and then the first among the human beings to be dutiful towards them are the parents. وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا إِيَّاهُ وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decree upon you that you worship none but Him, do not commit shirk, and وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا, and to be kind and ihsan. This is what the definition of al-birr, and to be kind and to do what is good to the parents. And many hadith that talks about this. And it's from the pleasure of Allah that the person is pleasing the parents. رِضَى الرَّبِّ فِي رِضَى الْوَالِدِ وَسَخَطِ الرَّبِّ فِي سَخَطِ الْوَالِدِ. And this is an authentic hadith recorded by Imam Muslim, that the pleasure of Allah is from the pleasure of the parents. And al-walid is not necessarily the male or the father. Al-walid is the one that gives birth. So it's both. So the pleasure of Allah is from the pleasure of the parents, and the pleasure and the opposite of that. The sakhat or the anger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is also as a result of the sakhat or the anger of the parents, again as long as there's no sins is involved. And رَغِمَ أَنْفُ وَرَغِمَ أَنْفُ, when the Prophet ﷺ said his nose is rubbed in the ground, that means he's a loser 3 times. The one that من أدرك والديه عند الكبر أحدهما أو كليهما ثم لم يدخل الجنة. The one that had his parents, both of them or one of them, when they were old, and they were not the reason for him to enter Jannah. That means he's a loser. Why? Because it's something that is so easy for the person to enter Jannah if his parents are old while he's still alive, or they're alive, and he can be kind to them when they reach old in age. This is one of the means, the easy means for a person to enter Jannah. That means a person having this ni'mah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he does not observe it, and he does not enter the Jannah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is the real loss, because it's something that is sweet. As the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, min al-kabair, shatm rajul waliday, that from the major sins that a person would curse his parents. So they said, O Rasulullah, هل يشتم رجل والديه? This is against the natural or the fitrah of the human being. A man would curse his parents. He said, نعم. يسب أبا الرجل فيسب أباه ويسب أمه فيسب أمه. That a man would curse someone's father, so he would curse his father. And he would curse someone else's mother, so he would curse his mother. He become the reason for his mother or his father to be cursed, which is a major sin. It's one of the rights is to make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for them, as the dua also towards the son and the daughter is accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Of course, to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for their forgiveness, ربنا اغفر لي ولوالدي وللمؤمنين يوم يقوم الحساب, especially after they die. To make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to pay their debt after they die, to fulfill their nuzur or their vows, to pay their kafarat or expiations if they have, to fulfill their wasiyah, their will, as long as it's within the 1/3, not more, and as long as it's not haram. To make the siyam al-fard, if they had siyam that they didn't fast with the fard, you make it on their behalf. To be kind to the relatives or the friends that they had, as the Prophet, as we heard that before, to give charity on their behalf. So these are some of the things to be done after their life. But the point of being righteous towards them is basically two things: to do what is good with all what it takes, and it depends different from one place to the other, for example. And to know and to be concerned what will bring happiness to them, and at the same time you do not cause any harm to them, even the slightest amount of harm, as long as as it's something in your capacity. And actually the matters of this dunya, the person to be successful in this life, physically in this life, also depends on how he is righteous to the parents. So always when a person he finds things is not working for him, right, he should search what's the reason, even physically, financially, whatever there is. One of the reasons is maybe his parents are not happy with him.